Welcome back to Collecting and Hobbies. For you Star Wars collectors, it's actually a very good time to be one. The prices, I don't know if it has anything to do at all with the holidays. This is actually December 3rd. But I've noticed, especially since October, late October, early November, the prices, especially for such items like the 6-inch Black Series, which is probably the most collector friendly of all the Star Wars stuff out there. They have been getting very collector friendly lately. Sorry about that. Losing my voice a little bit. So yeah, I've noticed like a lot of the Rogue One figures from the Force Awakens, even the figures that came out just a little bit before that, Wave 5 and 6. A lot of the 6-inch Black Series figures, Hasbro has actually been getting back on track and starting to keep up with demand to some extent. Recently this summer when they repackaged the Rey action figure from The Force Awakens, they updated her paint scheme a little bit on her face. Her hair's more pronounced. Her face is there's less makeup, it looks like. Her eyes are clear. Her eyebrows are clearer. Her lips have changed from like a ruby red that only covered up like part of her lips, the middle part, to more of a more natural color, more pinkish hue, and it covers her full lips, and so a lot of people, even though it's not like a major change, it is a big improvement. She also comes with a lightsaber now, the 6-inch Black Series figure. So, like during the summer, she was selling for about $30, and now, in the last couple of months, a lot of the figures, such as Rey, both versions, can get for much less than that now. I've even seen the original Rey for as low as $9.99, and the new version of Rey, also in the Rogue One assortment, it's the same figure. I'm talking about the 6-inch Black Series. She's $9.99 on certain websites, and so is the Captain Cassian Andor and the somebody else. Oh yeah, Jyn Erso, the 6-inch Black Series figure of her. So it's like for collectors out there that are trying to complete their collection, you guys are getting these figures for about half price now, and almost less than wholesale even. You guys are getting them cheaper than I do, because I sell these retail, and as far as retail goes, it's not really that great of a time for us retailers, as far as unless you're like Walmart or Target, or because we kind of depend upon the aftermarket value of these being harder to find and rare, and selling them for $25 or $30 if we can. But yeah, for the collector, the time is very friendly right now. A lot of even the Rogue One figures, a lot of websites debuted those figures as $15.99 to $16.99 Force Friday. So it's an extremely good time to be a collector. You can actually find some of the 3.75 inch Black Series figures for $10.83 on Walmart.com. Like Admiral Akbar, I saw him on there. He's not the most recent wave, but he's probably the most recent wave that a lot of people are aware of. There has been a Rogue One wave already released that has the 3.75 inch super articulated Black Series version of Jyn Erso and the Death Trooper. And the Death Trooper is he comes with a lot more stuff than the original release or the 6-inch release. He comes with I don't even know what you call it. It's like a kind of like a backpack, but more like a front pack. Had a lot of gear on it, and he's basically the same as the Target exclusive 6-inch version, but scaled down to the 3.75 inch version. So yeah, for you Black Series collectors or Star Wars collectors, it's it's December 3rd. There's a lot of sales going on. It's real easy to get a lot of these figures now. There's only a few of them that are not really, I wouldn't say hard to find. Well, maybe if you're hunting them yourselves, trying to find them, what they call in the wild, by going to stores, like Ahsoka Tano, from the actually either scale really. Ahsoka Tano's hard to find. Whether it's I'm just going to call them 4-inch figures because it's a lot easier to say. The 4-inch scale or the 6-inch scale. I think to this day I've never seen either one of those. I don't think I've ever seen a 6-inch Black Series Ahsoka Tano in a store. I did see Director Krennic at my local Walmart a few days ago, and that's when I picked up the 4-inch super articulated Jyn Erso and the Lando Calrissian in general. Since those are Walmart exclusives, so I don't really have any special access to those at a discount, really. I thought about picking up Admiral Akbar. I didn't, but I probably will soon. I don't know why, but he just looks really cool. He has good paint, which is it's getting kind of rare again, unfortunately. I haven't seen a lot of Jyn Ersos, though, the 6-inch Black Series, and they seem to be getting more consistent with the eyes looking better than they normally. And the eyes and the hair's painted all the way. The eyes are painted nicely. She's kind of got that doe-eyed Barbie doll look a little bit, but she has been getting better because some of the ones I've got, and also the Comic-Con exclusive version, which is actually the same thing, same figure. The eyes and the eyebrows were not quite perfect, I guess, put it that way. And now I did notice every Lando that they had, though, and the 4-inch scale with a Walmart exclusive Black Series, they are, I don't know why, but I don't know if how many cases of those I got or whatever, but I saw at least 4 of them there. There was 4 of those, and probably about 4 Admiral Akbars, 1 Finn, and 1 Jyn Erso. And they were horrible. They're absolutely horrible looking. The hair wasn't painted right. On some of them, there's like little brown spots, like meaning, like, you know, Lando's skin color and not painted his hair. Basically, there was missing paint apps on the hair, and some of them were like black streaks, like kind of like drippage on his forehead. I saw one with his eyebrow, like one of them was normal, the other one, his left eyebrow was raised up like dramatically, and in the middle it wasn't even painted, it was his skin. And the eyes on some of them were crooked. I mean, it looks kind of like a machine did the eye and eyebrow part of his face, and like one side was like on track where it's supposed to be, and the other side was like, you know, like at a slant or crooked or something. And I'm not sure how they do that. From what I understand, each one's hand painted when it comes to the head. And so, not exactly, maybe, I don't know, maybe they're trying to do that. I don't see how they got by quality control looking like that, but that's another issue with Hasbro. And I did a video earlier where telling you guys, you know, if you have these problems, make Hasbro aware of it, because they're just going to continue if we don't inform them. But I mean, some of these figures are hard enough to find as it is, that, you know, like the Jyn Erso I found, that's the only one I've ever seen. Of course, she just came out, but she's got some paint mess up on her hand where it's not, her glove isn't painted all the way. There's skin color in her glove. And I mean, it's getting to the point where I'm about ready to go to a hobby shop, just pick up a whole rainbow of colors of paint or something and just try to fix them myself, I guess, or something, because, you know, I do open one and then one I normally keep in the package. But the ones that aren't worth a whole lot, if they're only worth what they sell for, like at retail, then normally I will open those to display them. And I do that for a couple of reasons. One, save space, because the bottom line is they take up less space if they're not in a box. You can put them in like, you know, a Ziploc bag or whatever. And two, what's the point of being a collector and collecting figures if you're never going to open them? So I do both, you know, the collector side of me keeps them in the package, and simply because I just don't play with them. I'm not 10 years old anymore. So, but then again, sometimes I want one just to display, just like a cool little thing to put on my desk, or, you know, and I'll switch them out like every week or every month or whatever. Just put a different one just to show that I'm a fan, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so it's a really good time right now to be a collector. The majority of the stuff you can find, and you can find it for less than regular $19.99 retail. And I've talked to a few people about this because, like I said, Toys R Us and some other places debuted these normally $19.99 to $24.99 figures, depending on where you buy it. A Disney store sell them for $24.99, but they debuted them for $15.99 as pre-orders or the day that they came out, and they're still selling for that on ToysRUs.com. And so other companies and other places have had to adjust to that. They're selling, like I said, Jyn Erso for $9.99. Walmart sells her for $12.83 if you go online. And I actually got mine for $16.83, which is the normal price at in store. The in-store places, I guess they did a recent rollback, and so as of right now, they still list at $19.99. But with all these places selling them for $16.99 or less, it's kind of become the norm. Because I'm going to give something away here that a lot of people don't know, but Hasbro Direct, meaning if you're in retail, then unless you're like Walmart or Target, one of those big superstores that may have like a special contract, but they sell these, there's 6 in a case, and they go for $90 plus shipping. So it costs roughly, if you buy them in bulk, about $95 a case. Now, if you're getting these for $10 a piece, depending on who it is, I have seen Kylo Ren go for $10 to $15, the new version unmasked. The K2SO normally goes for $20 to $30, depending on where you buy it. I mean, the retail is $19.99, but if you get it, I guess, at Walmart, when you find them, if you can find them, because they also buy case assortment. Okay, there's when they released these this time, they sold them as solid cases. A solid case means just one particular figure in that case, like 6 Jyn Ersos or 6 K2SOs, instead of an assortment, which the assortment has one of each of those figures. There's 6 different figures. There's actually 5 from Rogue One, and then you have the repack of Rey with the lightsaber. So there's only one of each, and the case assortment. But since, Jyn Erso is the main character, a lot of Walmarts and Targets and other retailers bought her as solid cases because they don't think that they're going to have any problem selling her because she's a star. So if you ever do find a K2SO, which you'll probably get out of an assortment case, because Walmart, to the best of my knowledge and the people that I know that are buyers and stuff, they don't buy. The only figure that they bought solid cases of, the 2 figures that they bought solid cases of, were Cassian Andor and Jyn Erso, which kind of explains a little bit about why those 2 figures are probably the ones that you're going to see if you do go to your store and you only see one or 2 figures. They're probably going to be one of those 2. The rest of the figures Walmart buys are in the assortment. So you're going to see less K2SOs. Oh, wait. They did also recently start buying the Death Trooper in full cases because of demand. Because normally the troopers hang around, like the Stormtrooper, the First Order Trooper, the Snow Trooper, or the Flame Trooper. They carry over to other assortments after their initial release. They come back as repacks and other assortments because there's a lot of people that do what you call army building. So you army build your troopers. And because of demand, they decided to buy the Death Trooper as solid cases. I saw 3 of those while I was there. Basically, last time I went there, they had like 4 Jyn Ersos, 3 Death Troopers, probably 4 Cassian Andors, and 1 Director Krennic, which that part I was kind of surprised because they basically had just common figures, the easy to find ones, but they had 1 Director Krennic and 1 Jyn Erso of the 4-inch Black series, which, depending on what website you go to, she could sell for anywhere from $20 to $40. So it kind of looked like those 2 figures, maybe somebody might have hid them when they first saw them and they just put them back over there, or something to that effect, because they only had 1 of each of those and it wasn't consistent with they didn't have anybody else from the assortment. So actually right now I think probably the hottest figure that's already been released for widely released is C-3PO. He's very hard to find. He's going for $30 to $40 depending on which one you get. The Red Arm one or the Walgreens exclusive, where he's more like the Episode 4 New Hope C-3PO with the golden arm. And the Canadian and Canada and Philippines and some of the other countries have already started receiving the newer wave with Darth Revan and Sabine and Leia, Obi-Wan, AT-AT Driver, and Hoth Snowtrooper. So those will be hitting very, very soon. Supposedly, I saw a guy on a website said that he found one at Walmart, like in Kansas or Louisiana, or I don't know, somewhere around there. So for those of you who Darth Revan fans who keep saying, oh, he's never going to be released, well, he's been released. He's already out there. There's a guy in Canada that has a friend in New York. He's already selling them on eBay for $75 a pop. And a lot of people with Darth Revan, the hardcore fans, the big time fans that have been reading the books and the comic books and who know who he is, they'll pay $75 for him. He's sold out. The guy bought like 100 cases of those things and he's sold out within a week. And then you got the other people that don't have the slightest clue who the guy is or what the big deal about him is, that would never pay more than $19.99 for him. So, but in general, the whole point of this was, it's a really good time to start collecting, or if you haven't started, or if you are, there's tons of venues out there where you can get these for less than retail now. And I kind of surprised. I don't even know why I make these videos. I'm starting to become more of a collector than a retailer now, because can't really make any money off of these anymore. It's unless I sell Darth Revan for $75, which I actually can, but it doesn't. I I guess it doesn't sit right with me to charge somebody $75 for a $20 figure. And since the Rogue Ones have been I hate to say a flop, they are selling well, I guess, but at the same time, as far as making money off of them, okay, here's what I was kind of actually talking about earlier is what the reason that these are doing what they're doing is the 6-inch Black Series line is the most collector demanded, I guess, line. It's more for adults more than kids because they're $20 figures, and they sell well in small quantities. Let's put it that way. Before The Force Awakens, they came out. They sold the case pack was 4 figures. That's not a lot of figures. There's only 4 of them in each case, so they're kind of hard to find. It used to be. Okay, so when The Force Awakens figures did come out, like in 2014, 15, Black Series figures in general were just hard to find. You never see them like a whole bunch at one time unless you just happen to get there and be lucky. You couldn't just walk into any store at any given time and just pick out who you wanted out of the figures that had already been made. It wasn't like you could do that. A lot of people would just buy whatever figure they found just because they were happy to find one, especially after Force Awakens came out. Especially like Rey. All those figures, when they first came out, sometimes you would see a Finn or a Chewbacca. I mean, you could find them, but you'd have to do it relatively early when they first came out, and like right after Force Friday, or you'd have to be lucky. Now, I haven't been to Toys R Us in years, so supposedly Toys R Us, they probably carry these more frequently and get them in more frequently, but as far as all the other stores goes, they were very difficult to find. Walgreens is a good place to get them because they didn't order a whole lot, because a lot of people don't look for them there. And a lot of times, see, when you don't order a whole lot, you get them in more frequently, because if they sell out real quick, then you order another case. So that's also another way for them to get them, like the newer ones, quicker, is because you're not ordering in bulk, so you don't have overstock of the older ones. You order the most recent case every time. So, because the president or whoever of Walgreens is a massive Star Wars fan, so he's made it a point to make sure that they always have Black Series figures. That's also why they have Walgreens exclusives for the last 3 years. So anyway, so what Target and Walmart did was basically, in Toys R Us, I guess, is they basically went up to Hasbro and made an arrangement letting them know that, look, the Black Series figures from The Force Awakens did great. Rogue One, this is a side movie. We don't know if it's going to be huge or a flop or whatever. And more than likely, it's going to do well, simply because of Star Wars. But in limited quantities, these things sell really well. Now, what we're going to do is basically, Walmart at least agreed to buy 10 times more than what they normally buy if they get a 20% discount. So, to keep up with that, Target, Walgreens, or Toys R Us actually. Supposedly they did some kind of deal too. So since they're selling these for $15.99 and $16.99, I already know for a fact because I've talked. I used to work at all these places at one time or another. They're getting them for about $12 a figure. Now, if regular wholesale, you get them for about a little over $15 a figure if you buy them in bulk because of shipping. So like $15 to $16 a figure. So if you're a retailer or like an online retailer, it sells on eBay, which is a place where most of the people get their figures, the ones that they can't find at the store themselves. The big problem with that is there's no way you can compete with Walmart or Toys R Us because now they're more in demand. They're keeping up with demand more often. There's more venues where you can get them for $20 or less. So, say on eBay, I think I've mentioned this before. Like, if you want to sell a figure for $19.99, which is retail, you still have to ship it. It's going to cost you $3.50 at least to ship it first class mail if it's just one figure. And that's with the discount if you use eBay or PayPal. So, okay, so you got, we'll just round it to $20. $20 minus $3.50, that's $16.50. That's almost what you paid for it. That's basically what you paid for it to begin with, almost. And then you have eBay takes 10% of the original sale, which is, if it's $20, so it's $2. So now you're down to $14.50 plus PayPal gets their cut, which is 39 cents plus 2% for every transaction, 2.9%. So you're already down to about $14. So you're selling it for basically a $2 loss, which makes no sense whatsoever if you're a business person. Why would you even buy something if you're selling it? If everything you sell, you're selling it for $2 less than what you paid for it. So that makes 0 sense whatsoever. And the whole point of having a business is to make a profit so you can, pay your rent, your light bill, your food, your kids' clothes, whatever. And the whole point of capitalism is, to sell whatever you can for as much as you can. And that kind of determines the market. So if you could sell Darth Revan for $75 and your case assortment costs you $95, you still have $20 left to go before you even break even. So then you have to sell, they're selling Sabine for $50, so that'll put you to $125. Now you've, recovered your actual expenses and a little bit more. So you're making maybe $20 in profit if you just selling those two figures. And then you have the other four. Then those other four you could sell, I guess, at a loss if you really wanted to. But you could still sell those other figures for about $30 a piece. And see, then it becomes a profitable business. And you're not selling them for, too much more than what they... Anyway, that's actually not the point. But, yeah, so it's a real good time for collectors and a real horrible time for retailers, unless you're Walmart or Toys R Us. So, yeah, like that is that is like at least 50% of my income probably is the Star Wars stuff, and because of Toys R Us, and you just can't do it anymore unless you pre-order these before Toys R Us does. Where you get them first, but you have to order them from an outside source like Canada or Philippines or someplace that will get them to you before they get to Toys R Us or Walmart, which is very hard to do, and you have to buy them in a huge quantity, and we're talking about overseas shipping, which, okay, most places, if you do something like that, we're talking like, say you want to order 2 cases. That's not a lot. That's only 12 figures. 2 cases, a lot of times, unless you have some kind of special arrangement, we're talking like from China or wherever, we're talking at least anywhere from $55 to $150 in shipping by itself. And it's really hard to get the 55. There is a couple places that used to do it, but the majority of them charge like $150 in shipping. That's another reason why Darth Revan is selling for $75, because we're talking like $95 for the case, and so times 2, so that's $190 plus $150 in shipping. So that's $240, $340, $340 for 12 figures. So you have to, if you sell the 2 Darth Revans for 75 piece, that's 150 right there. And then you sell the 2 Sabines for 50 a piece, that's 250. And then you sell the rest for $30 a piece, that's about $550. But now we're not including the shipping though. The shipping would be 12 times 5, $60. So, okay, so bring it down to, that'd be $290 minus the fees from eBay, $350, that'd be $35. So $260, $255. Oh, wait. How did I get that far down? 550, 490, 455. So, and then PayPal, let's say 3% of that would be another, say $13 or $14. So we're talking about $430 in that range, $435, and you spent 190 to 340. So you're making about $110, maybe $100 off of 2 cases. Now it sounds like something good, like a profit, but $100 isn't going to pay your rent. You got to duplicate that. You got to duplicate that multiple times over to make sure, I mean, just to pay your rent. Most places, I don't know, wherever you live, whether you have a house or an apartment, let's just say like most rent, anywhere you go, probably about $700. So, you got to duplicate that at least 7 times over just to pay your rent. And then you got food, a light bill, cable, whatever else. So yeah, you got to do more than just sell Star Wars figures. But so, and then when you cut them out all together, good luck, because if that's your business, selling toys or whatever, and that kind of, or collectibles, we're talking like $5 here, $5 there, maybe, in profit. And so you're gonna have to sell like 700 items a month, just to stay in business. And live at a normal income, right? No, normal type of life. But this video is getting long. But the whole point actually was what I'm trying to make is a great time to be a collector. So, and go tell Hasbro. Go tell Hasbro every last detail of every last figure that you get. Every single thing that could possibly be wrong with it. Packaging, the figure, anything. Make them well aware of it so they fix the problems. Because they're finally starting to catch up with demand. Now we need to get the quality control under control. So until next time, I will see you later.